So should we start with Becky Lynch? I'm surprised nobody knows about Becky Lynch.
I know all about her now.
Really? That's cool. You looked her up. All right. Where do we start? Here it comes. This is from a website called twitter.com. It's interesting that she goes by Rebecca Quinn. I don't know.
Well, my first thought was like, oh my god, is she related to Martin, who like plays Scotty? But no.
Oh wait, let's hear what she has to say. Let me do it this way so that I
This
can
video.
so that we can hear it. There we go. Let's hear what she has to say. Let's hear her Irish accent.
You know, when you've already been champion of the world, there's really only one place to go next, and that's to the stars. And I am so excited to share with all of you that I am joining Star Trek Starfleet Academy
Star
as
Trek.
part of the bridge crew. And lads, this has been the most incredible experience acting alongside Starfleet Academy as part of the bridge crew.
Bridge crew.
And lads, this has been the most incredible experience acting alongside just a spectacular cast and crew. And I cannot wait for all of you to check it out when it comes out on Paramount Plus. And hey, live long and prosper.
Oops. There we go.
You know, when you've already been champion of the world, there's really only...
He's new.
Yeah.
So fun. I
Yeah, she's
love
awesome.
her accent.
Mhm,
Oh my
me too.
gosh. It's so great.
Yeah.
Even
So-
when Ryan makes fun of it.
What we heard was bridge crew there.
I know.
So that means
Yeah.
she's not going to be a professor. She's not going to be a student. So she's not going to be part of like the main
You don't know.
Starfleet Academy situation. She's going to be part of the bridge crew of whatever thing is happening in outer space.
True. Although, like, people are then like, well, Holly Hunter said she's chancellor and captain of the
Hmm.
ship or something. So that's a confusion.
Right?
So maybe there's both on the ground stuff and outer space stuff.
But how?
Certainly.
Well, like in Section 31,
Mhm.
they had class, or not Section 31, Red Squad. Or in the Academy, they had
Yeah.
away missions where they took their class
Yep.
Mhm.
away.
Thanks.
Away. So,
Mhm.
like Valiant, they were on a educational
Right.
journey.
Yeah, I'm very, very interested. Like,
How many episodes? Like, very
Right.
curious.
What if they do
Mm.
20 episodes? What if they return to 20 episodes for us?
Oh, that would
Do
be
not even toy with my
amazing.
emotions.
Sorry, I feel like
get
we
to
have to
know
say
them.
Prodigy did that. We always have to remind
Right.
ourselves this has been done.
Yeah,
Prodigy's
just
always
say
like, don't forget
26.
us.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
So that's Becky
Yeah.
Lynch. Oh, and the first thing we see is Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel tagging Virtual TrekCon. Cool. In that post. So, yeah, she has 2.4 million followers there. And you said she has over 5 million followers on Instagram.
5.5 on Instagram.
Mm.
It's a pretty good gig. So let's
Oh,
tell you a
so
bit
Trek
about
wrote it up and went into her backstory a little, which is really fascinating. Like,
Trek movie. All right, let's pull that up.
these guys know how to like dig some dirt. They're great.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to brag, but I literally dug some dirt like an hour or two ago because there was like a flower pot that was like running low. I'd like put a scoop of
Mhm.
dirt. I swear this is a true story. So
You just reminded me I need to water my plant. Oh,
you should. You should.
oh,
All
no.
I
right.
did that earlier.
You watered her plant?
Oh,
No,
no, I need to water
I
it. It's
watered
gonna
my
die.
plants. There's some right here. They got
Oh.
some water today.
They deserve it.
Think it'll last an hour and a half?
They give you fresh air. All right. So this is from a
They
website called
do.
trekmovie.com.
Which at first I was like, oh, what? John Champion. No. Different kind of
Anne-Marie
champion.
has gone on record saying that trekmovie.com is in her top 25 Star Trek websites. So that's incredible.
I do love them.
It's entitled Wrestling Champion Becky Lynch joins Star Trek Starfleet Academy. That's big news.
It
The
is.
upcoming Star Trek Starfleet Academy series has been filming since August, and we have had several announcements related to the cast, but there is one more before we wrap up the year. The latest to join is
Well,
Rebecca Quinn, well known
so
to
we can
fans
skip
as
down a little.
professional wrestling as world champion Becky Lynch. All right.
If you want to skip down to SmackDown on the Bridge, which is like such a great title of her section.
Smackdown on the Bridge. Let me see if I can find
They're so fun.
that. All right. Sorry, guys. You guys were going to get a little intro on Becky Lynch, but Anne Marie runs a tight ship here.
Well, no, none of so basically, I just wanted to say that SmackDown on the Bridge, but actually, we've kind of discussed all of this, so we can even go down to like the man joins Starfleet, and that's where they talk about stuff we haven't discussed before.
Let me tell you guys a little bit about Becky Lynch here.
Please do.
So she came into wrestling and John Orchiola, I'm sure, could back me up here, maybe even add something to it, quite a few things. She came in through wrestling, if I remember correctly, through NXT, which was kind of like the farm system for, the women. They go through the farm system, men too,
Mhm.
uh, of wrestling. It's kind of like the minor leagues. And these four ladies, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, uh, Charlotte Flair, and what's the hugger? Bailey.
Hmm.
Bailey.
Is
Yes,
Charlotte related to Rick?
it is his daughter.
Wow.
How
Are
cool is that?
are any of these
Wow.
women the person that Fighting with My Family was based on?
Oh, that was a really good movie. No,
Yeah, it
that
was.
was shoot, I can't remember her name right now,
But a
but
different wrestler.
yes.
But she was also
She
Irish.
came up a no,
Or was she
she's
Scottish?
like English. Was she, or maybe she's
Okay,
Irish.
yeah.
No, maybe you're
No,
right.
no, 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 no. I think you're right. Yeah.
Um,
Just to clarify. Thank you.
what is her name? Someone can tell us in the live chat. Anyway, uh, so that was cool. These four ladies, they came up because suddenly women in wrestling started getting a little bit better. Back in like the 90s and early 2000s, it was really just about like, oh, look at these big boobs, and oh, they were called divas and they were doing stuff. And it was
Oh
less
yeah.
about wrestling and more about like pulling hair or like doing
And
weak
Yeah.
moves.
boobs.
Or I mean, yeah, it was just, you know,
Yeah.
it was what it was at the time.
Yeah.
They weren't originally wrestling, and then they kind of started infusing them in a way that they felt was
Hmm.
palatable
Yeah.
or relevant at the time. And then it started getting better and better and better. And these four ladies were really freaking good. And they still
Hmm.
are very, very good in their own right. In fact, I would venture to say that Charlotte Flair,
Hmm.
not to change the subject, but I think Charlotte Flair is easily the best female wrestler ever. Like she's
Cool.
crazy.
Wow.
Anyway, so, and there's Natasha or Natalia Neidhart, who is the daughter of Jim the Anvil Neidhart of the Hart Foundation back
Yeah.
in the day. She's really great. She's like a
Hmm.
trainer now. Anyway, the point
True.
is, Becky Lynch was one of
Cool.
those four people. She was not supposed to be the big one of the four. It was
Hmm.
really, it seemed like it was going to be Charlotte Flair because she's royalty. She's like,
Right.
some people say, the greatest wrestler in the world ever, his daughter. And she's also like tall and big and strong. And she's got the physique
Hmm.
and the training, and she's just amazing. And I feel like I remember when it happened, when suddenly the girl that was maybe fourth in line, Becky Lynch, she was supposed to be a bad guy. She was supposed to turn heel, as they say, against
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair, who was supposed to be the baby face or be
Yeah.
face.
Hmm.
And Becky Lynch was just so badass the way she was talking shit to Charlotte
Mhm.
Flair that people were like, we know we're supposed to not like her, but we kind of like her. She's really good at talking
Yeah.
shit.
Nice.
She's really cool. I don't know the behind the scenes stuff, but it felt like it was an accident. It felt like they were trying to make her a bad guy, but she
Yeah.
was just
Mhm.
so likable as a bad guy. It didn't work. And then people
Hmm.
started booing the good guy that was going like, oh, you're hurting my feelings. And
Oh
we're like,
no.
shut up. Good. You deserve it.
That's
Becky's
amazing.
cool.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and then she just started getting really good, and she went over, as they say, is slang for over, which means you could be a good guy or a bad guy. It really doesn't matter.
Hmm.
You're over. Crowds are going to cheer for you no matter what.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And so she just really revolutionized women's wrestling. Those four ladies really did.
Hmm.
And then she gave herself a nickname. She started calling herself the Man, which is just, pardon the expression, is so ballsy to
I
go
love
into a
that. That's
men's
awesome.
industry, which was wrestling,
Yeah.
and call herself saying, I am the Man. And then she
Hmm.
was the Man, Becky Lynch, and she took over wrestling. There was a good solid 2 years where she was the biggest name
That's
in
awesome.
wrestling, bigger than
That's
any dude.
awesome.
She was the
Hmm.
biggest draw. I
Wow.
think she even main evented WrestleMania, like as in the,
Crazy.
anyway.
Wow.
There's way
That's
more
so
to it,
cool.
but this
Yeah.
is who she is. She
Right.
is a
Right.
gigantic person that was
Crazy.
part of a wrestling revolution, and she herself individually also moved up into a stratosphere that has never been reached before in women's wrestling. So,
A
Speaking
Trish
of
So
photo
Stratosphere?
ops,
cool.
the
yeah,
I need
photo
to
op
watch some of
positions.
her videos.
yeah,
Hmm.
watch them. Check it out. She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. And that's really cool because I mean, that's a smart move on Paramount's
Hmm.
part to bring in somebody from a completely other, with a huge fan base behind them.
I love the people
Right.
asking if she'll be like
Mhm.
chief security officer,
Oh,
which
that
I
would
would
be
love.
so
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. Ah, that would be
And
so
the
cool.
person that she beat to win her first women's title, if I remember correctly, was Ronda Rousey, who was
Right.
like an actual MMA
Wow.
fighter.
Yeah.
Right.
She was kind of like
Hmm.
Goldberg at the time. She was just beating everybody up,
Yeah.
including dudes. It was ridiculous. She was a
Yeah.
Hmm.
monster. And
Yeah.
the way they did it was like a three-way battle. Like if
Hmm.
they don't want to have somebody get beaten because they're like, well, she's too good to get beaten, they do
Yeah.
like a three-way battle. And so then it's like, well, she didn't really get beaten. Somebody else beat, kind of like they beat each other up. And
Yeah.
Huh.
anyway, and she had crazy red hair extensions. It was nuts. They were like falling out during the matches. It's
That's
insane.
funny.
Anyway, so that's just a little backstory on Becky Lynch. I'm
Awesome.
surprised I know this much about her. She's also married to
I
Seth
know,
Rollins,
right?
who is one of the biggest wrestlers out there too, Seth
Hmm.
Rollins. And then she left wrestling a few years ago during the pandemic, 2020, I guess it was,
Uh-huh.
because she got pregnant and she was a champion.
Oh.
She was a champion. She made an announcement. She had her friend there and she says, "Hey, I'm leaving wrestling because I'm pregnant, so I want you to have my belt." And that was Asuka, a
Aw.
Japanese
Hmm.
wrestler. But anyway, so that's her story, but she's come back recently and she's great and big name.
WrestleMania
So
in
it's a
April.
big news. It's really big news.
That's so cool.
She has a
That's
best-selling
so
New York
cool.
Times book. She's like
Huh?
amazing. She was just ranked 20th best wrestler of all time by ESPN. Like,
Whoa, I gotta see that list. Ooh, that's exciting. When was I gotta find that?
Thanks for watching that clip. You can find us on the main viewer live every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern to talk about all of the week's Star Trek news.